What's going on, YouTube? I'm back for another video, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw and trade your supply and demand strategy. If you can understand where to identify supply and demand zones, then you can make a lot of money trading. This will allow you to spot reversals before they happen, giving you a higher chance of capitalizing on the move. In this video I'll show you how to draw supply and demand zones in order to find high quality setups to trade. First steps when it comes to drawing your demand zones. Step 1, you want to look for a basing red candle followed by a green candle. So if we zoom in on our chart right here and we look for a basing candle followed by a big green candle, we can see that right here we have the basing candle followed by the big green candle. Step 2, you want to draw a green rectangle from the top of the body to the bottom of the wick. Top of the body to the bottom of the wick, followed by a big move up. And as you can see, price trades, and as it comes back, the orders are filled and we bounce off of this level. Let's find another demand zone. It's important to know that when trading supply and demand, you should be going through all these different time frames and looking for zones in each time frame. I go from the daily all the way down to the 15-minute time frame. Let's go on the 1 hour and see if we can find a demand zone for you guys. So now we're on the hourly chart. If we go right here, we can see that there's a basing candle followed by a big move up. So if we draw from the top of the body to the bottom of the wick for green rectangle, you can see that this is now a demand zone. Price trades, demand is formed, buyers step in, price trades, price comes back down to demand, orders are filled, and then we see the move up. So now that you guys could draw demand zones, go on your chart and look for demand zone. As you can see, demand was formed, and when price goes up and comes back down, we see a reversal in this demand zone due to the fact that there's institutional orders being filled. And this gives you a higher probability of winning your trade because you're trading with the big boys. Now that you guys know how to draw demand zones, it's time to learn supply zones. It's basically the same thing, just the opposite. Step 1, look for a basing green candle followed by a big red candle. So as you can see right now, I'm on the 4-hour chart. If we zoom in right here, we can see a big rejection in this area. And when you zoom in to this candle, you can see that there's a green basing candle followed by a big red candle down. So to draw our zone, we start from the bottom of the body of the candle to the top of the wick, which is right here. And I'm going to zoom out so you guys could extend this full rectangle. So as you can see, this is the demand zone. Make sure these rectangles are red instead of green. So as you can see, when price trades and comes back to the supply zone, it immediately rejects and continues going the opposite way. Now go around your chart on different time frames looking for these zones. As you can see right here, we see a supply zone. Draw the rectangle. Change the color to red. Now watch how price reacts in these zones. You see the rejection, and then it comes back, tests demand again, and then it breaks out through supply and continues going. Now that you guys learned how to draw supply and demand zones, it's important to learn how to trade them. How to trade demand zones. Step 1 is to draw the demand zone. As you can see, we already have our demand zones drawn from earlier. Step 2 is to wait for price to come into demand zone. When price is in demand zone, it's your job to find an area where buyers are stronger than sellers. As we switch to the lower time frame, you can see that when we zoom into the area where demand is being tested, we can see that there's a heavier amount of buyers in this area, showing that the stock is making a reversal. Every time that demand is tested, there's a stronger interest in buyers than sellers. As you can see right here, there's a much bigger amount of buyers in this candle, showing a big move up. Same thing happens right here. As you can see, there's a lot more buyers than sellers in demand, causing the stock to continuously move up and then once again come back and test demand. When trading these zones, it's important to have your targets in place. I personally like having my targets at key levels or the next supply zone. For example, if we were to take a trade right here in demand, our target would be a key level. A key level would be an area of resistance or support. In this case, and when we zoom out and look at this chart, we can see that a key level is formed right here around 381.44. So if we took calls at this demand right here, we'll have our first take profit zone at this key level that was formed previously, and our second take profit at this supply zone right here when it's first being tested. It's up to you to decide where you want to take your profits, but I like doing it off key levels and supply zones. It's also important to have your stop loss in place. For example, if we were to take calls in this area like we mentioned, we would want to have a stop loss in the demand zone, which would be inside of this area right here. This gives us a proper risk to reward. This way we could lose more trades than we win and still be profitable. As you can see, if we take a trade in this demand zone, if we take calls in this demand zone, as you can see, it gives us a proper risk to reward, meaning that we could take more losing trades than winning trades but still come out profitable. Our risk on this trade would be 0.18% compared to our reward, which is our supply zone, which would be 1.65%, which is about a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, meaning that if you win one trade, it'll make up for the past 4 losses that you've had if you're using the same amount of size per trade. And trading supply zones is basically the same thing. You just want to do opposite of what you do in demand zones. So instead of looking for buyers this time, you're looking for sellers in zones targeting key levels and demand. You want to have your stop loss inside of supply with targets moving towards demand. That's pretty much how you guys can draw and trade supply and demand zones. If you found this video to be helpful, please drop a like and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.